Hello, and welcome to the FM podcast. I'm Jen Fritz, and I run Fritz Media, a music publicity and digital marketing firm located in Vancouver, Canada. And this is episode number 57 of the podcast. So the topic of this week's show is music composition for film and TV. And joining me on the show is film composer, singer, and vocal coach, Red Janes. Now, we had a great discussion about how she went from being a musician to becoming a film composer, how AI is affecting the film composition world, and how one actually becomes a composer for film and TV. It was a really great chat, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Red Janes. Well, hello, Red. How are you doing today?
I'm well, Jen. How are you?
I am doing fabulous. You know, it's so good to see you. I can't even remember the last time I saw you, but I do know it was before COVID.
Yeah,
right?
in pre-COVID lockdown, yeah.
In the before times.
I think we were lucky enough to go for a great big bunch of beverages at, was it the
Somewhere?
Black Frog or something like that?
Oh, yeah, that is correct. I have I can picture it in my head where I saw you last, but I couldn't remember where. But
yeah, it was a big long table, and I think it was the lead up to the Junos or something. It was just pre-Junos. Yeah. So that would have been, that's 2019?
Yeah. 2018 or 2019. Yeah. I think it was 2019.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, well. We can't remember, but I mean, it was the last time the Junos were here, and now they're coming again next year. So
this is exciting.
Very exciting. Well, to get things started here, I'm going to begin with a question that I like to ask all of my guests. And that is very simply, how did you get your start in music?
In music, that's a great question. I got my start in music quite young. So I took every sort of school thing that I could. So I come from a quite poor family, no money for most things. So, I took anything that I could get in school. And so at 7, I was in like little school choirs and community choirs and stuff like that, and started like performing, as a kid. And through elementary school, started playing flute. And from there, around the time I was 8 or 9, there was a guitar in the house. And I, really briefly when I was growing up, my parents would play a little bit, but they mostly the guitars just sort of sat in a corner and collected dust. So I kind of fucked around with those. Oh, are we saying fuck words on the podcast?
You can say that.
There's a lot of, I cuss like a sailor. Right? It keeps it seasoned. It's seasoning.
We welcome it.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Yeah. So I kind of half taught myself to play guitar and started writing songs, and got really involved in music, like musical theater through high school, and band class and choir class and vocal jazz. And yeah, I was definitely the art and theater and nerd. And then when I graduated high school, I ended up going to Capilano College at the time, university now. I took their Bachelor of Music transfer program and accidentally became an opera singer, inadvertently, did not mean to. So I knew that I wanted to go to music school. From the time I was 8 or 9, I knew that I wanted to be a conductor and a composer. And so, yeah, when I was graduating high school, there was no money for post-secondary education or anything in our family. So I got whatever sort of like little scholarship things that I could get, but there's not a lot for, like, at that time, and this is like 1999, not a lot for folks going into music. So I got what I could get, thought I was going to take a gap year after high school to make some money. And then I saw everybody around me getting their acceptance letters, and I convinced myself that, and this is so backwards, I convinced myself that I was being lazy by not going to school right away.
I did something similar. I understand that feeling.
Yeah. So in a flash, I applied to the only place that was still, like, it was top of my list, and it happened to still be taking applicants. And I'm really glad that I did, because if I had gotten into UBC, I probably would have gone to UBC, and I would have received a much less comprehensive education, musical education. Not because there's anything wrong with UBC, but because the programs at UBC are very, very focused on driving you to a very specific outcome. And CAP was very comprehensive. So went through all of that, and I had intended to go just to compose and conduct. And I didn't realize, because I hadn't taken any time to do any proper research, that they were only offering performance programs at that point in time. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what kind of a performer I would be. Because at that point in time, I wasn't really thinking of myself as a singer. I was like, I'm a flautist, right? And so they sent me both lists of requirements, and I looked at the flute ones and it was like, you got to come in with grade 10 conservatory training and like, here are the rudiments you have to show. And I'm like, I've never even attempted those. I got 3 weeks. What the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then the vocal ones were like, bring 3 pieces of contrasting styles, sing all 3 contrasting styles, take some feedback. We'll see how you harmonize. We'll see how strong your sense of pitch is. And so I did that and got in and accidentally became an opera singer because it was a classical voice production program.
So funny.
So I like, whoops. Learned that I'm a terrible piano player. I still am a terrible piano player. It is an apparatus. But from that, there was a lot of, making music in school. And also when I graduated from there, when I got out of there, the first thing that I did was the most different thing that I could do. Because if I had continued to complete my degree, which I didn't ever complete it, the options were to go to UVic or to UBC or maybe somewhere else, but going very focused into opera, like opera, operetta, light opera. And that's really not what I wanted. So I went out and did whatever was most opposite that I could do. And it was a concerted effort on my part to like, what is different? What is opposite of what I've been doing? Like, I love a madrigal, but dear God, make it stop. The 26 Italian songs in Aria's book is a loved and also loathed part of my library. Any like singer listening to the podcast will be like, yeah, I got that book. Sei tu mami and Quella fiamma and like all those, they're beautiful bits, but yeah. And so I wrote a terrible trip hop EP and recorded it with a very excellent, wonderful human being, Matt Rogers, because he was at CAP at the same time and he was just starting to do some recording.
That's awesome.
In his parents' basement. And that's where we became fast friends. We're still very tight.
And he's also a film composer too.
He's a tremendous film composer. He's exceptional. And I'm so excited every time I see his name on something. His music is incredible. We do a little bit of working together sometimes, but I'm a friend and a fan mostly. So I started doing whatever was different. So I started like writing music for bands and like being in bands, pop bands, rock and roll bands, like a little bit of everything. And then in 2006, I met a person who became my husband and is now my ex-husband, who is a fantastic filmmaker. His name is Darren Borman, great filmmaker. And we had just started dating and he was just finishing film school. And he asked me if I had ever thought about making music for movies. And I was like, no, I haven't. So I had a little 8-track Tascam DP01 digital recorder. The screen on it was the size of a graphing calculator, which is like
the olden times.
The olden times. Not quite tape, but just about. And I started like Beatles style, like record 8 tracks, bounce them down to 1, record 7 more, bounce all that down to 1. Partition my hard drive, export, upload to a thing. Taught myself GarageBand, made an enormous number of mistakes. And, moved to Logic and never looked back. And that was 2006. And where it all kind of started to make sense was that, and I'm sure in your work, you see this in the artists that you work with. I don't just want to do one thing. I don't want to, I don't want to get pigeonholed. And that's really easy for women, I think, particularly women of a certain age. And like, I just turned 43 and like, there's a point at which people are just like, oh yeah, she's the one that does X or she's the one that does Y. And so for me, I just want to always keep it, like, I want to keep the salad tossed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to keep it really varied.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the topic for this week's show, I don't even think I've said it yet, but I will say it, is music composition for film and TV. And your background is so varied. Do you think that has really helped you to become a better composer? Like, once you started doing it, what was your journey like from there? So you're like, I'm going to start doing this now. What gets you from there to where you are now?
A lot of unpaid work, which I don't think the self-identified SJW in me is vehemently opposed to unpaid labor. And the realist and the pragmatist and the capitalist in me, because, we contain multitudes. The capitalist in me knows that you need to make a good pitch and you need to be saleable and you need to find a way to get the relationship built. And sometimes that means that you do a favor. Mm-hmm. And so there are times now that I'll still do a favor. Nobody call me, please.
Please.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But like when I started, it was just a lot of like learning to do the job. And so when my ex-husband was graduating, film film school, he decided that he's got a huge work ethic, a crazy, crazy work ethic. And he wanted to make a short film a month, every month for a year. He wanted to just keep like fresh. And that year we actually made 15 short films. So like my first full year, once I kind of learned the job ish for indie, right?
Yeah.
We made 15 movies, and you learn really quickly how to make decisions and how to be efficient. And a lot of those projects were like 24, 48, 72 hour film festival projects. There used to be a lot of those. There's fewer now. I think there's Crazy Eights, and there's MAM, and there's one or two more, but there used to be like 10 or 15
Tons.
of them. And so we just did every single one of them. And like all of these are like, I'm doing live recordings. I'm like shoving a violinist in the closet because there's clothes in there and it's going to dampen the sound. And that's like a go-go gadget booth, right? Done.
Yeah.
Writing everything overnight. It's where I first deliberately broke my body clock, which I am paying for now, but it is one of my greatest tools, is that it doesn't matter what time it is. If it's time to work, it's time to work. Time is irrelevant to me. So like, as I went along doing that, I met a lot of people. And after a while, I started doing work with them and for them. And then I made a feature with a number of people called Charlotte's Song. It was basically a sort of Dust Bowl remake of The Little Mermaid, of the original fairy tale, obviously, not the red hair and So yeah, so it was just, I got to the point where I was making a lot of movies all the time, and I was working full time, and also I had started coaching singers at this point. And I've always tried to keep about 5 irons in the fire at all times, because up until COVID lockdown, that made me earthquake proof, right? It didn't matter what would happen. Earthquake proof is like, okay, shake the tree, but I've got students. Okay, I've got a movie coming. Okay, I've got multiple bands that I'm playing in. We're playing party, maybe the band that I'm in is playing, weddings or corporate gigs or whatever. Those things are super fun. They get a bad reputation, and holy shit, I play shows with these bands and it's like, this is Tina Turner's keyboard player. And that is, that's Bryan Adams' guitar tech. You look at these bands and you're just like, oh, it's crap because it's at a casino. And you're like, listen to these motherfuckers play some Earth, Wind and Fire. Like, totally. Really listen to September out of players like that. And you go, holy shit, this is what it's like to be a working musician. Like, you're paying your fucking bills. Well,
yeah. I mean, you do have to have, a lot of irons in the fire, and you kind of have to be a Swiss Army knife, a little bit, right? To be able to make it in today's creative world.
Absolutely. I always refer to my tickle trunk. Tickle trunk because that's really what it is. It's like a whole bunch of disparate parts, and eventually you go to the tickle trunk and you find the thing that you need. Like, there's that kind of old joke about, don't throw away your adapters, don't throw away your cables, because the second you throw away the adapter, next week you have something that you need it for.
No, that's true.
Go back out to the store and buy it
every time.
Yeah, like I'm in my home office right now, and I have like a filing cabinet here, and there's like half it's a four drawer filing cabinet, and half of one drawer has documents in it, and everything else is just gear. It's just an indestructible cabinet that you can put weird shit in. Like, I've got Chinese flutes, and I've got like recorders, and like mbiras, thumb pianos, and like hot and cold running adapters, and hand percussion, and like crappy rusted tambourines. And like, sometimes it's just exactly the right thing. So you have to just, getting back to the question of like, how did it become film? Film finally rounded up everything. It finally puts everything under the same very wide, very open, very interesting canopy.
Yeah.
And so you just sort of wander around the functionality that you have. And I really think about it like, I have a lot of ways that I talk about writing film music, but one of the things that I really appreciate is, you've chopped wood before, like firewood before, haven't you? Okay. So the physics of firewood chopping, I was actually just saying this at a SoCan event recently. We were, making jokes about chopping wood, and this person was like, oh, I'm terrible at doing that. I was like, oh, I can explain to you exactly how to do it right now if you want. Like, it's the physics of a heavy object being multiplied, the mass of the heavy object being multiplied by a whip crack. You're just basically cracking a whip with two hands is what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same principle for percussion. It's the same principle for the piano to a certain degree. It's the same principle for like flat picking or Travis picking a guitar, you know. So like the feeling of chopping wood is always present in mind because it, you know, at the beginning, you're really just learning how to hold an axe. And so like the early projects are really just about like what side of the axe is supposed to be the sharp one and like how high over my head and how's my aim and how do I not cut my fingers off or like, you know, crash into my own shin or some shit. And then after that, it's like, okay, I'm going to learn how to sharpen my axe. Okay, I'm going to learn how long this axe handle needs to be for my height. And then after a while, you're like, okay, I've got the whip crack down. Like I know how high the thing needs to be and this and that and the other thing. And there's a point at which you can only technique so far. You can only like smarts it so far. After a while, you simply just have to swing the fucking axe. After a while, you're just chopping wood.
Yeah.
And so like, I think that's what I like so much about being a musician for film specifically, being a composer for film specifically, being a performer for film specifically, is that it requires all of the tools and technique in the tickle trunk. But after a while, it's just an enormous amount of hard work that you have to just stay really super focused. You have to make sure that you don't lose the plot, that you don't lose your key themes, that, you know, you're writing as much as you need, but not too much. You know, you don't want to overwrite, you don't want to underwrite. And it just takes everything that I love about the different kinds of music that I make. And the farther along I get, I'm able to have greater requirements, which is fantastic. I'm able to, you know, put a team together, which is great. I'm able to understand the parts of filmmaking, like the parts of filmmaking that I understand from coming up through the indie world. A lot of people might not have if they came, for example, through school.
Well, yeah, because you're learning on the job, right? So
yeah. And also like learning what happens before me, you know, and what happens after me. So I think one of the things that I really appreciate and I'm so grateful for my experience is like I spent a lot of time on set.
Yeah. So you get the whole picture, the big picture. Yeah.
And I really understand what a series of miracles a movie is. Actually, I just got some new business cards finally. I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a love of a square business card. I love a slightly awkwardly sized, like 2.5-inch business card because it just fits in your wallet, but is always sticking out a little bit, which means you always have to touch it, which means you're always reminded that I fucking exist. So you can hire me. Hire me!
We're always thinking about you.
Exactly. Just elbows out just a tiny little bit in the mosh pit, just so they know where you are. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my cards actually say, I make music, you make movies, we make miracles together. Because
nice.
a movie's a goddamn miracle. Like the fact that it takes as long as it does to write the thing and then to have all the rights associated appropriately while you're writing the thing. And then you have to get money to make it. And that in and of itself, the idea of getting funding in order to make the movie is insane.
So crazy.
And then you have to have people act in it. And those actors have to be good and believable. They have to be a price that you can afford, or they have to, you know, you have to convince them to take a different rate or whatever. And then your crew have to be Mensa level geniuses at their craft. And then all of those things have to happen at the same time in the real world in a space that might be raining that fucking day. It might be the one day in July that it pisses. And you have to figure out how to deal with that. Or you need it to rain, and that's the one sunny day in April. It's just every single intersection of potential failure over and over and over and over again. And then it actually has to be good.
Yeah. Also,
then it has to get edited together, right? So like it's so much about when it gets to me, there have been so many miracles for a movie that if you were to look at it and go like, this isn't a good movie, which I would not say that about any movie that I've made, like they're all miracles. Right. But I think for a viewer, if they were like, oh, this movie's crap, like spend a day on set, spend a couple of days on set. I dare you to PA. I dare you to PA in November or February.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No, I dare you to do a week of night shoots and then day shoots the next week. Like do a week of night shoots and do a week of day shoots and then see if you can edit this movie because you will be so ready to punch out your screen.
Well, that's a really good suggestion. Like that's how you learn a lot of things. If somebody wanted to be a music composer, would you recommend that they take sort of the route you did, like go to school and then learn it? Do you necessarily have to be a musician and have a music background to do it? Or with today's technology, can you compose?
That's a great question. I have a less clear answer to this question than most questions. Like most questions I have a pretty clear opinion on. I don't know if you've noticed that about me, Jen.
I haven't so far, no.
Yeah. So I actually think that what makes it so exciting is how many ways there are to get into it. So like, I actually think that that's what makes, like, composers are an extremely weird job. Nobody understands what we do. And I don't say that as an ego move. I keep running into people and they're like, so what's it like? And I'm like, what's what like? Like what part? Like, is it the endless technical challenges? Like I'm constantly at war and trying to make it a peaceful discussion and not an all out battle with like pikes and shit with my gear, because there's an update somewhere and all of a sudden nothing works. And like Mac Silicon has made things very complicated. And, some of the tools that we use are more like prosumer tools where they're not expecting experts who want to be able to manipulate things. And so you're always kind of like finagling your instruments, whether they're real instruments or digital instruments. So like a huge amount of my time is spent really doing IT support for myself. And then there's the business part of it, which is like, I'm so grateful to be represented by Cora Music Agency. Ari Wise and Matt Safran and Trish Klein and Kevin Estwick are like, they absolutely are the difference makers in my life. Mm-hmm. But I have to bring the work too. Yeah. Like I have to go out there and I have to keep churning. Like there's that part of it, right? And you have to have enough going that it makes sense for them to represent you. And so like, you need to be able to do the job, but the job is so many things. Yeah. Like the job contains multitudes as well. So like, I think at the very least, you need to be some form of musician and love music so much. I think that part of it is mandatory because otherwise, when you have those nights where like, I'm not sure, especially for something like a TV movie, I'm not sure if folks know the format of a TV movie. There's traditionally there's 9 acts. The first act is usually by far the longest one. Sometimes it's as long as it's as short as 17, 18 minutes or as long as 24 minutes. I've had the first act of movies be 24 minutes. That's a third of a movie. Wow. Like that's almost an episode. That's a 22-minute episode plus, totally. Right? And so how long it takes to write really excellent music that tells the emotional journey of the characters, that feels like the movie looks, even when you don't get to see that. Like oftentimes the movie I get hasn't been color corrected yet and there's shots missing and there's lower thirds written in saying, insert VFX shot here. So it doesn't look how it's going to look. It doesn't sound how it's going to sound. None of the sound correction or anything has happened. Like the mix hasn't happened. So I'm hearing cut like 50 times an hour in the movie, right? Because that cleanup just hasn't happened yet. And so you have to see the movie that will be.
You have to envision it in your head. So you have an idea of what you're scoring to, but you don't really have the full picture.
Certainly not. Yeah. And it can go in a lot of different directions. And so you need to make really good relationships. So if you don't talk to people well, you are going to have a hard time, like a really hard time, and you might have a hard time permanently.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to be a bit of a counselor, and you have to learn how to create a language with every single filmmaker you work with. I will say 95% or so of the people that I work with start off our relationship by telling me they don't know anything about music. And I disagree with that. Everybody who lives in the world knows a ton about music. You just don't know why you know it. It's cultural.
That actually brings a good question that I've always had is that, if I'm a film director or a film exec or whoever's running the show, do they have an idea of the music that they want? And is that hard to express for them? Maybe
it's so hard to express if you're not fluent in music. But I think that's the power of the composer. That is the gift as well. I will say of the composer is that we are supposed to be the subject matter experts on music, but we're not the subject matter experts of the movie. So I have a really strong feeling about this, which is that the director, if the director is strongly involved with the movie, in TV movies, sometimes the director isn't a part of it after the edit. Sometimes I never even meet the director sometimes. And sometimes it's like I'm talking to an actor and 4 producers. Sometimes I'm only talking to producers. Sometimes I'm only talking to the director, and the producers are like, yep, cool. Like it really depends on the movie. But generally speaking, what'll happen is they'll have an idea of the direction. And so they'll have some form of idea. And the trick about it is making sure that they have enough support and you have enough shorthand to get at how it feels to them and what part of the music makes them feel that way. Mm. So a great example is the tremendous composer Michael Levy. She is out fucking standing. She's fantastic. Under the Skin came out. Michael Levy's score on that is just transcendent. Yeah. It's violent. It's vicious. It's so textured. It's wildly effective. And then for about 5 years after that, everybody and their mother's brother wanted a score that sounded like Michael Levy.
Yeah.
We're going in Under the Skin direction. We're going in this direction, right? And so the trick about it is same thing with Inception. Like everybody wanted like Nolan feel, right? Everybody wants Inception.
Or after The Social Network.
Exactly. Everybody wants Trent and Atticus. And like, same, dude. But like, do you have Trent and Atticus money? No, that's why you're talking to me. And like, no shade, no disrespect at all. Like you make the movie you can make, right?
Yeah. And
so I'm grateful for those opportunities. And so my job is to figure out what part of it makes them feel that way. Mm-hmm. Is it the texture? Is it the volume level? Is it the instrumentation? Is it the fact that every time you think there's supposed to be music, there isn't? And then the places that you feel should be quiet are so outstandingly scored and like martial and vicious and like takes you by surprise. Like you can do so much with a movie when you add the music.
Yeah. I mean, it helps with the narrative a lot of the time as well, right?
Yeah. And sometimes we're there to fix things. Like sometimes we're there to fix things where, maybe there wasn't a great day on set and like the shots that they were able to get are not quite the quality that they wanted, either from the performance or from the like the amount of time they had for things like shooting extra shots and coverage. And coverage would just mean like you have your characters on screen saying their lines, but you want to see them from a couple of different perspectives. Right. And then you want like a closer shot and you want a farther away shot. And so that helps you feel closer to the character or farther away from the character. It helps to see the overall scene. But if you've got a close up on someone's face, it's going to feel different to the viewer than if you've got a great big wide scene where you can see the mountains in the background. Right. And so all of those things, again, they're miracles and they have to be miraculous when they're in the camera and when they're on the screen. And so sometimes you didn't quite get the miracle and score comes in and adds or soothes emotion. Mm-hmm. That can also be a really effective thing. Yeah. Like there's a lot of places where you can score a scene that feels like it's incredibly tense and you can just you can like actually bring it down for a second so that there's that kind of unmet expectation, which I think is the most exciting part. Like, especially in movies that I make, if there's, a violence element or a thriller element, at some point in time, I'll holler to myself, we're going to make them feel so uncomfortable. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm going to twist the knife in everybody. Yes. Yes. Feel the feelings, you bastards. Feel them.
Yeah. No, but it's true. It really can add to the narrative and create tension, as you said, especially in thrillers or horrors. Like,
absolutely. Yeah. And so, so the filmmakers, whoever it is that I'm interacting with, they do quite often have an idea, but they might not be able to get at the nexus of what makes it work. And we have a thing that we sort of affectionately, sort of not affectionately. I'm very judicious with use of this term, so I'm sharing it, but I do try to keep it out of my brain, which is tempitis. Tempitis, which is what happens when you have your temporary music. So as you're cutting the movies together, it's really hard to edit a movie without music in it. And so as you're cutting it together, you'll either have a library of temporary music that you have just taken from other stuff just to temporarily be there. So you have, this is how this scene is going to feel. That's how that scene's going to feel. Sometimes the director puts it in. Sometimes the producers put it in. Sometimes the editor does. Sometimes it has nothing to do with director vision at all. It's just the editor going like, we need some music in here so that the scene feels like it works. I can tell that the scene works once the music is in.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to feel without the music sometimes. And depending on how long that temporary music has been in there and how many times they've watched it, sometimes what happens is it gets stuck in the brain.
And they're like,
and it's very hard.
Why can't you do that? Can you do
that?
And yeah,
like,
it doesn't sound like that.
Copyright is a thing and money helps with that. And also, I can't rip off Atticus Ross.
No, you can't.
He's got more money than I do. And he will grind me into a fine paste in the ground. And I want to be friends with that guy someday.
Of course you do.
Like, hopefully today, every day is a new day that I could be friends with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Right?
Yeah. Well, that kind of like brings into the discussion, the topic of AI, which I would imagine is probably changing the landscape a bit for what you do. I think that there's probably some shows that are doing exactly what you're just talking about, that think that they can just, take an AI composed piece of music and just use that instead of hiring an actual composer. I mean, we're seeing that in lots of different places in the music industry, things like music supervision as well, that's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with. Yeah. What's the overall discussion right now with other stream composers just simply about AI?
So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because the short answer is we've been talking about it since 2015, I want to say, when machine learning started to become a thing. I, again, the bleeding heart liberal that I am and glad to be.
That's why I love you so much. Right?
And I love you. Yeah, I almost wore my keffiyeh on the show and I was like, there's no camera. Fuck. No one's going to know. No one's going to know that I think we should kill thousands of people.
I'd know.
All right. The part of me that wants to use the tools that make the job easier is excited. And the part of me that is watching this tool be used to like ruin people's careers is staunchly against that. And so I want to see AI replacing producers. I want to see AI replacing like accountants, film accountants. I want to see how exciting it is when like C-level people at major television networks are no longer required because anyone can make a schedule. Like a machine learning can make a schedule, no problem. Like that's not hard.
And that's not a creative position.
That's not a creative position. It's a very challenging position. Yeah. It's a needed position, but like replace your own job before you come for mine. And so there's the part of machine learning and AI and ChatGPT and stuff like that people are using and finding a lot of use for it. Things like cue sheets, they're able to like build some scripts and stuff like that can go from your DAW, your digital audio workspace, whatever. And, make sure your cue sheets are written and like all the metadata is in there. And that's great. That's the stuff that computers are supposed to do. I was talking to somebody about the show Secret Invasion. Have you seen the show?
No, I don't think so. No.
It's the newest installment in the Marvel universe. It's episodic. It stars, oh my God, perimenopause is turning my brain into like termite piles. Samuel L. Jackson. Like I couldn't remember Sam L. Jackson. Come on.
We have too many things to remember.
Sam L. Jackson and Kobe Smulders is in there and a bunch of other amazing actors. And so I'm watching the show and the opening sequence is this like kind of milky gray and green faces evolving and changing and like a person who kind of looks the same, but it's like repeated almost. What do they call that? The facial sketches that you do in like police stations.
Like a police sketch?
Yeah, there's a name for that sketch. I just can't remember what it is. It's like one of those a composite sketch. Okay. Composite sketch. So it's like you can tell that it's all been written like it's been drawn from the same cues, right?
Yes.
And so I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I read an article like the day after I watched the first episode that they made that with AI. That's an AI generated intro sequence. And it was before the strikes. Like it was before the AMPTP was on, like it was before all of that. And I realized I'm sitting there watching the loss of probably 1,000 jobs, at least a couple of hundred jobs, right? It's a huge, huge, huge piece of work.
Oh my gosh.
And suddenly I'm like, this is an incredible thing. And then I'm like, oh, this is just some computers doing computer shit. Like computers do computer shit. That is not very impressive, right? Yes, it looks cool, but you know what's really impressive? When a fucking person does that. So is it an amazing product? Well, I mean, it's a computer product, so it's like it has a lot of technical prowess to it, but that's because a fucking machine made it.
Yeah.
So my understanding is, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe somebody will leave a message on this and be like, Red's full of shit, pass it on. But I mean, they should be saying that anyway. But like they had AI make it, and then they had people in between it, basically.
Yeah.
And like in betweening is like an entry level position in animation, is my understanding, because it's just like it's taking the core drawings and like putting the frames between them so that they move from one to the other. It's a technical role, but it's like line removal. Like it's an entry level role, and it takes all of the creative control away from the person doing it, because they're not character designers. They're in-betweeners. Their job is to take an existing design and make it move. That's the thing that an in-betweener
So they're
does.
basically keeping the lower paid positions and killing the higher paid positions.
And yeah. And so the thing is, and like this happens in every industry with every technological advancement that ever happens, is that the industry sees a way to save some money, and they rush to get it out and operative in the market before the courts can catch up. And so that's what happened. AI, the genie was out of the bottle before anybody had a chance to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And so what I'm seeing in my actor friends, what I'm seeing in my writers friends, you know, the WGC is talking about, what was it? The WGA? It's WGC. The Writers Guild is possibly going on strike again, over AI predictions. And
they should.
Absolutely. The challenge that I see in our industry right now, and you may or may not know that I'm the treasurer of the Screen Composers Guild of Canada, which is
I did not.
Yeah, I was like, you sure you want me in the money? The money thing? Me?
I'm the treasurer.
I have ADHD. Really? Yeah, like diagnosed. You sure? They're like, we got an accountant. She's great. You just need to explain like what's in the spreadsheet to people and like answer questions. I'm like, oh God, thank God. Like, no.
You don't have to do the work. Don't worry.
No, please. I'll fuck it up. Yeah. So, for us, we don't actually have like a trade union. There's no composer trade union. The guild is an informal guild. Like it's a recognized organization, is a recognized nonprofit, but it isn't a trade union because we've never been able to get to that point. And so, you know, you need a lot of money and you need a lot of political power. And so
it's the same, like musicians are having that same problem. Right,
exactly.
well.
And the AFM is really, really, really excellent for a lot of things. And I will say, like, the people who I know who work at the AFM are incredible. Like Dusty Kelly, is she in Toronto now?
I actually don't
she moved
know.
back east. She's incredible. Like, she's an incredible person, but it has to be, she's an incredible person, and she's one person in a multinational structure.
Yeah.
You cannot fix it with one person, right?
No.
And so the AFM, the American Federation of Musicians, is focused on musicians, right? And so in past, and this is really good reading for people to understand why maybe it's not the right place for composers, the AFM and the CFM, the, you know, Canadian counterpart, they're there for musicians. And so they're trying, and with all the love in my heart, they are trying, but they do not have the understanding, and they do not currently offer what is really desperately needed in our industry, which is solidarity and understanding of how the work actually works in this industry. Like, I don't think I've ever done a union show. I know people who have, but I mean, I would much prefer to be unionized. I would much prefer to be working for a guild or with a guild. And our guild is doing what it can, but it doesn't have that political power to have solidarity with other unions. And so the WGC is, in my personal opinion, this is not me speaking on behalf of the SCGC at all, but they're the closest aligned to us. Like they're people who make something out of nothing, right? Like the story starts with them. The music starts with us, right? And so we have a lot in common, but we are not yet able to be sort of recognized under the same umbrella. You know, we would love to join forces with another guild.
Yeah.
And I wish that the AFM and the CFM were able to do what we need, but like they're not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like there's still a lot of work that has to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just like kind of wrapping things up just a little bit here. What are your plans for, say, like the next year or so? Do you have any like exciting projects coming up or anything like that?
I do. I'm starting a movie on Tuesday, which is pretty great.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. And for the first time in probably almost 20 years, I'm writing my own music again.
Oh, that's exciting.
For my own purposes. Yes. So I played a like little mini set last summer at a dear friend who lives in Lake Country. Her family put on a music festival. Sorry, last summer I played this mini set, and I was just like, I wonder if I can remember how to play my own music and how it feels. Like I perform a lot, but I never perform my own music anymore. It's been so long since I played my own show, and it's genuinely been, I think it's actually been 20 years of just me and my own music. Band, not collaborative, just me. And I remembered how to do it, which was a little bit surprising. I expected to have a lot more trouble. I expected it to be a lot shakier, and it wasn't, which was kind of surprising. And a thing that is funny, and Jen, you will know this just as well as I do, that sometimes when you're playing music, everybody's just like talking and drinking beers and like they're sort of half listening to you. And it's a hard, like that's a normal thing. And it's hard to like perform and like keep your place and not like get thrown off by other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you build a really fucking tough skin.
Yeah.
Or you are sunk,
yeah.
right? If your feelings are going to be hurt by people not being there for you,
yeah,
seek healing, right? Because it's going to hurt your feelings. So it doesn't bother me at all. But it was so fucking quiet. Like everyone was sobbing their eyes out. Everybody was just like sobbing and like holding each other. And I was like, guys, this is some like acoustic guitar music. Like, are you guys okay? Like it's, and for me, I'm just like, you know, I make a bunch of mistakes and stuff like that. But, you know, I felt real, genuine two-way connection.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Exactly. They kept asking for more, and I was able to do some more. And I was like, okay, so it works. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, I want the data. I want to go like, does this actually work? Mm-hmm. And is the thing that's working, is that worthy and worthwhile by my own standards? Yeah. Like I'm not worried about other people's opinion. I'm worried about, am I of service? Am I creating good work that is authentic to me, that is of service to the listener, right? Not just taking up space and making more noise. There's so much fucking noise, right? But is it good in every sense of the word? Good,
yeah.
Right. And so a couple of weeks ago, this incredible guitar player, Steve Dawson, mm-hmm. posted on Facebook that he and his band had a few days off from tour and they were going to be in Vancouver, and would anyone be interested in some demo sessions, like Nashville style, live off the floor demo session, big shit hot band, Studio A at the warehouse, like the big room. And you send them your demos. If you've got some charts, great. And like, I'm a classical kid, so bet I got charts. Yeah. Yup. Do you need them bound? Like, yes, of course. I come correct. Demos and everything. And they're like, yeah, you know, so you pay for an hour. You come in, you know, we'll be all prepped. Send us what you've got. We'll prep our own charts so that they're how we like them. And you come in for an hour. We'll do like live off the floor recordings, 2-3 drafts, and then maybe a couple of overdubs, or maybe you can do another vocal thing, 1 or 2. At the end of the hour, you plug in a hard drive. You have all the tracks and everything. It belongs to you 100%. We get nothing except the fee. We say, you know, so long, thanks for all the fish. If you only play it for your mom next week, great. If you license it to Marvel next week and make $1 billion, great. Everything is on the table. Let's just do some cool demo sessions. And I was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And by the time I kind of got my shit together, I was going to buy like a full day of sessions. By the time I got my shit together to to like confirm, they were all sold out.
Oh shit.
But what it did, I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't. It was like a pretty significant buy, like to do a whole day of sessions, 6 sessions in a day. I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready to make a record. That's what that means.
Oh, that's good.
Like, because I was ready to jump. I was like, okay,
yeah,
let's do it. And like, I was sitting there like writing out the tracks that I know because I've a shitload of songs, but I was like, oh, that tells me that I'm actually ready. Right.
So we have maybe a new album coming.
We have a new album coming.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, some of it is, music that I wrote for movies over time. There's always a little bit of autobiography in music.
Yeah, of course.
And, some of them are from movies that weren't especially autobiographical, but the song has become autobiographical. And like my meaning in the song, if I was in fact writing a song for the movie, because I do score, but I also do songwriting for the movie and movies and stuff like that. So yeah, new music is coming, and there's definitely going to be a subject matter warning label on it for sure.
I'd expect nothing less.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe submit it to your therapist to see if it's safe for you to listen to it. Like, cause that's the thing. Like when it comes right down to it, I could write about anything, but I don't want to write about anything. I want to write about the things that I care about.
Yeah.
And some of those things are going to be really challenging to hear and challenging to listen to. And if you are in a vulnerable place and maybe you're not especially safe, maybe skip it.
Yeah.
Maybe skip it. Because I don't think there's any reason to half-ass something like that. Like I, especially during my busier years, I release in movie form 5 hours of music a year. Like, can you imagine releasing 5 records a year?
No. No, I cannot.
Yeah. So like with movies, sometimes I only have 2 weeks, like to make a feature film, to write everything, record everything, get it approved, version everything, mix it, output it, go to the soundstage. It's generally speaking at somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks. And so like you got to make some really hard decisions really fast. And if you're going to fail at it, you have to fail at light speed and like not be bothered. You have to be so unbothered by the failure and by the rejection and just get to the good stuff. So
that's what you have to do. That's how it works.
That's the jam. Yeah. So new music coming out. I don't have a date yet.
Okay.
Cause I'm a musician and
right.
I don't.
Stay tuned, everyone. Everyone
I don't know. I don't know when.
Stay tuned for that. All right. Now feels like a really good time to head on over to our fresh content segment. Every week on the show, we discuss our favorite piece of music content for the week, and we always like to start with the guest. So,
over to me.
What do you got?
Oh, I'm so glad that you asked about new music, Jen, because at the ripe old age of 43, I have rediscovered club music. I know.
It's time.
It's time. It's fucking time. So there's this super awesome French duo that just played Coachella called Justice.
Oh yeah.
And they're very like dark glasses, thin white 70s linen suit, lots of lasers, and like industrial doomy massive fucking music. It's so good. Let me see if there's a Justice. I'll send you a link to this to a song by them. And it's just kind of like really super good banging club music, and it reminds me a lot of like Fort Knox 5 or like Chromeo, those guys.
I actually feel like Chromeo and Justice did something together back when Chromeo was like, I really feel like the company I used to work for, Frontside, we did a lot of work for Last Gang.
Okay.
I feel like they work together on something.
That makes sense. Have you ever, do you know Justice?
No. Oh. Well, I know the music, but I don't personally know them.
Yeah, they fucking bang. It was so good. And we're just sitting at home watching like live feed of Coachella, and like we've watched their set from Coachella easily 5 times now. It's so good. It's so good. And so it's like, it's that awesome club music that has a great mix of like really new, like, you know how the like 80s synth wave, like hard synth wave sort of has come back, and some of it is so cool. Like, especially after the movie Drive, everybody was like, oh my God, synthwave is amazing. We're like, yeah, Yeah, it is. Catch up.
It totally is.
But then like the really good like 70s disco, like late 70s disco.
That's totally coming back.
Oh,
in a
it's
big way.
so fucking good. Like Dua Lipa's all over it. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's that one. And then the other music that is never far for me, and it's such a hard question to answer because I want to make you a mixtape is what I want to do. Like, here's a mixtape.
Oh.
Of like, this is what rattles in my brain all the time. Like, so the album that is never far away for me is an album called Love Songs by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. He is my guy. He's an incredible Sufi musician. He's passed away, but his son Fateh Ali Khan is sort of keeping up with him. And they're these like incredible ghazals. So they're like long devotional songs.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like love songs. Some of them are like prayer songs. But it is, if I need a attitude adjustment, if I need a mood adjustament, it is instant joy. Like 100% instant joy.
It's good to have songs like I have like a list of songs like that. Like if I need a pick me up, I just am like, these are the ones. You know?
Yeah. And if someone were to like gun to my head, the only album that I couldn't do without ever for the rest of my life, it wouldn't actually be either of those things. It would be Maria João Pires is an incredible, incredible virtuoso pianist. And she did a full recording of all of Chopin's Nocturnes. And her recording of Chopin's Nocturnes is like, if I can't have any other music, like for a long time, I've actually been intending to do like a vocal rendition, all vocal like album of Nocturnes.
Cool.
It'd be fun. Cool. Some cool like spicy human tricks of like, see how many parts of Chopin you can do with your voice, how many layers. But yeah, so new Justice, instant happy, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, especially the song, it's spelled Woh, W-O-H, Vo Hata Rain, R-A-I-N, Parda.
Okay.
Vo Hata Rain Parda. And like, it's just a fucking bop. It's a damn bop.
It's a
bop. A certified multi-platinum bop. I don't know if it's actually multi-platinum, but like people go into these rooms and like he sits cross-legged on the floor and sings like it's coming out of his marrow. This guy, oh my god! And then like end to end, I actually wore out the CDs on the Chopin Nocturnes. I had to go and buy a new like a gramophone double album, and those are like in the early aughts. I had to buy it again because I wore them out. And
oh wow,
how do you wear out a CD? You put too much fucking light on it.
A lot.
Like when I went traveling, I was still using CDs at that point in time, and like I took a copy of it with me and like listened to it on trains and stuff like that. But yeah, I bought it again, and in the early aughts, it was $45. Like, it's great.
Worth it.
Absolutely worth it
though.
Absolutely worth it.
Red, you got 3. You got 3.
I know. I know.
Well, I only have one.
All right. What is your one? I want to know.
You're gonna find this really funny. So my fresh content for the week, I actually decided to do one of my favorite film scores in honor of you.
Oh, thank you. Which one?
And it's the aforementioned Drive.
Yeah. Oh, that soundtrack is so good. The score's so good.
It's so good. The composer, I think, is Cliff Martinez on it, I believe. And if you've seen the film, you know the soundtrack is very synthy, very electronic based. And the music, like some of it is very electronic and in that sort of video gamey zone. Do you know what I mean?
Very much.
But a lot of it is very like sparse and just like quiet and just it moves along. And I actually listen to that soundtrack a lot when I'm working because I also have ADHD and I can't listen to lyrics when I work.
How do people do that?
I don't know how they live, man. I have friends that listen to podcasts while they're working and I'm like, must be nice to have that brain.
Yeah.
Because
my partner does. My partner does. He'll have like a podcast going about like politics or about like weightlifting or something like that. He's really into like working out and stuff lately. And he's like coding. I'm like, how?
I just don't, I don't get it. But yeah, I listen to a lot of film soundtracks just because of that. Like, I mean, obviously on Spotify, there's a lot of focus playlists and there's a lot of like, even ADHD playlists for people like us.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah. It's good, but it always fucks up my year-end Spotify list because it's all stuff that I, just passively listening to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, if you've never heard it, I really suggest the soundtrack to the movie Drive, the score in particular, and I will link to that as well as all of Red's 3 picks.
I know.
In our show notes.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Red.
Thank you, Jen.
Really appreciate it. If someone wants to find out more about what you do, where can they find you online?
redcomposer.com.
Simple.
Yeah,
Easy.
you got to make it simple. Just like, the one with the redhead. This, redcomposer.com. You will find me yelling about social justice on Instagram.
Always.
Trying to just take up the best space I can and be honorable as a human being. You'll find me on Instagram at They Call Me Red.
She's a good follow, guys.
It's a lot of fuck words on the channel, so
it's okay though.
We're trying to make sure we end up on the right side of history here at Heartbreaker Music Industries.
Correct.
So, and apart from that, you will probably find me looking at artichokes at a Whole Foods or standing on a street corner looking at my phone, looking either pissed off or confused. That's probably where you'll find me in the wild. Looking at weird ingredients at Whole Foods, being like, can I make something with a celeriac? Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope everybody has a good listen.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a long one, but definitely a good one. I really hope you liked it. And thanks again to Red for coming on the show. Thanks so much for listening to the FM podcast. If you like the show, please tell your friends and give us a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. Or you can always help us out by telling a friend about the podcast or posting about it on your socials, whatever you can do. As always, we'd really appreciate it. The FM podcast is produced by me, Jen Fritz, for Fritz Media, with production assistance from Carla J. If you want to learn more about Fritz Media, check out our website at fritzmedia.ca. And to learn more about the podcast, go to thefmpodcast.com. A big thank you to Said the Whale for providing the theme music for the show, and you can find them at saidthewhale.com. Okay, so we're going to go with our song of the week this week, which is from Vancouver fusion pop artist Cinnamon Sandhu. This is Materialistic Rani.
शराबी मेरे गाल गुलाबी अलविदा बै कुड़ियां मैं पंजाबी का तुम जी स्ट्रीट्स में उठाते लाली किसे पीछे नहीं पैसे थे मैं दीवानी I'm a luxury queen materialistic Rani I'm a luxury queen materialistic Rani Versace perfume Chevy nahi jaave Bugatti zoom zoom Gold di charger Jimmy Choo the heel Give me everything I want make it real Kade dollar on the rain Ho jana main insane Need one more thing I need your last name Kade dollar on the rain Ho jana main insane Need one more thing I need your last name I'm a luxury queen
I'll see you next Tuesday.